Welcome to At Trivia Quiz. Today we have 100 fun questions for you. They start nice and easy and get trickier as we go, so grab a grown-up, shout your answers out loud, and let's play. Question 21. Which pretty insect has 4 colorful wings and starts life as a caterpillar? It's butterfly. A butterfly tastes things with its feet, so every time it lands on a flower it is already having a taste test. Question 56. What fluffy white things float across the sky on a sunny day? It's clouds. Clouds look light and fluffy, but a single cloud can weigh as much as 100 elephants. Question 48. Which clever sea animal leaps from the waves and clicks to talk? It's dolphin. Dolphins give each other names a special whistle that means one particular friend. Question 25. Which planet has a giant red spot that is actually a huge storm? It's Jupiter. Jupiter's great red spot is a storm that has been spinning for hundreds of years longer than your great-great-great-grandparents were alive. Question 58. Which musical instrument do you play by blowing and pressing keys? It's flute. The flute is one of the oldest instruments ever made, and ancient flutes were carved from bird bones and wood. Question 10. Which famous iron tower is the tallest site in Paris? It's Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower grows about 15 centimeters taller on hot days because metal expands in the heat. Question 27. Which black and white bird loves icy cold weather and cannot fly? It's penguin. Penguins are excellent swimmers and can leap out of the water and land on their feet like a tiny superhero. Question 41. Which stringed instrument do orchestra players hold under their chin to play? It's violin. The bow used to play a violin is strung with hundreds of tiny hairs, and players rub it across the strings to make beautiful sounds. Question 16. Which round orange vegetable is carved into a jack-o'-lantern at Halloween? It's pumpkin. Pumpkins are actually a fruit, and their seeds can be roasted and eaten as a crunchy little snack. Question 52. Which icy weather happens when tiny balls of frozen rain fall from the sky? It's hail. Hailstones start as tiny ice pellets that get tossed up and down inside a storm cloud, growing bigger with each trip like a snowball rolling downhill. Question 53. Which planet has beautiful rings around it? It's Saturn. Saturn's rings are made of billions of sparkling pieces of ice and rock, like the world's biggest glittery hula hoop. Question 32. Which prickly green desert plant stores water in its thick stem? It's cactus. A big cactus can hold enough water inside it to fill a bathtub many times over. Question 62. Which giant mountain is the tallest peak on Earth? It's Mount Everest. Mount Everest is so tall that it pokes up into the layer of sky where jet airplanes fly. Question 34. Which yellow curved fruit do monkeys love to eat? It's banana. Bananas are actually a berry, which makes them one of the biggest berries in the whole fruit world. Question 22. Which famous Egyptian landmark has a pointy triangular shape and is made of giant stones? It's Pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramid was the tallest building in the whole world for over 3,800 years. Question 7. Which instrument do you play by blowing air into a long, curvy brass tube? It's tuba. The tuba is the biggest and lowest-sounding instrument in the whole brass family. Question 64. Which sea animal has 8 arms, 3 hearts, and blue blood? It's octopus. An octopus has 3 hearts, and 2 of them stop beating whenever it swims. Question 19. Which instrument do you blow into to make a tooting sound in a band? It's trumpet. A trumpet is made from a metal tube that, if you uncoiled it and stretched it out, would be almost as long as a car. Question 28. Which instrument do you blow into to make a smooth, low sound in a jazz band? It's saxophone. The saxophone was invented by a man named Adolphe Sax, so he named his brand new instrument after himself. Question 82. Which red fruit carries its tiny seeds on the outside? It's strawberry. A strawberry wears about 200 tiny seeds on the outside. No other fruit does that. Question 30. Which fluffy white animal goes baa and gives us wool for cozy sweaters? It's sheep. One sheep can grow enough fluffy wool every single year to make about 4 cozy sweaters for you to wear. Question 60. Which giant gray animal has a long trunk and big floppy ears? It's elephant. Elephants use their trunks like a straw to suck up water and spray it right into their mouths. Question 18. Which Australian animal hops on 2 strong legs and has a long tail? It's kangaroo. A baby kangaroo is called a joey, and it is smaller than a grape when it is born. Question 35. Which silvery object in the night sky lights up the dark? It's moon. The moon has no wind or rain, so the footprints astronauts left there will stay for millions of years. Question 75. Which hollow green plant grows amazingly fast and feeds pandas? It's bamboo. Some bamboo grows almost a meter in a single day. You could very nearly watch it grow. Question 57. Which slow land reptile can live for more than 100 years? It's tortoise. Some tortoises have lived so long that they were alive before your great-great-grandparents were born. Question 33. What round, orange ball do you bounce and throw through a hoop? It's basketball. The very first basketball game ever was played using a real peach basket as the hoop, and someone had to climb up to get the ball out every time. Question 51. Which glowing ball in the sky lights up our daytime? It's sun. The sun is so enormous that about 1 million Earths could fit inside it, that is a lot of Earths. Question 3. Which round red fruit keeps the doctor away, so they say? It's apple. There are thousands of different kinds of apples in the world, and if you tried one every day, it would take years to taste them all. Question 44. Which round black and white ball do you kick to score a goal? It's football. A football is made of 32 panels sewn together, and they are specially shaped so it rolls perfectly every time. Question 1. Which big striped cat loves to splash in water? It's tiger. Tigers are one of the only big cats that actually love swimming and will jump into rivers just to cool off. Question 54. Which yellow vegetable grows in neat rows along a cob? It's corn. Every silky strand on a corn cob is joined to one single kernel. Question 59. Which spiky golden fruit wears a crown of green leaves? It's pineapple. A pineapple is not one fruit at all, it is dozens of tiny fruits squashed together. Question 69. Which mountain can erupt and shoot hot lava into the sky? It's volcano. Some volcanoes shoot lava so high into the air that it cools into tiny glass beads before it even hits the ground. Question 40. Which sweet frozen treat comes in a cone and melts on a hot day? It's ice cream. It takes about 50 licks to finish a single scoop of ice cream, but nobody ever waits that long. Question 43. Which round, red fruit is actually classified as a vegetable by chefs? It's tomato. Scientists call a tomato a fruit because it grows from a flower and has seeds inside, but most cooks treat it like a vegetable. Question 68. Which beautiful flower closes up at night and opens again in the morning? It's lotus flower. The lotus flower grows in muddy water, but always comes out perfectly clean and beautiful every single morning. Question 8. Which sport do you play by hitting a ball over a net with a racket? It's tennis. Tennis balls are bright yellow, so players and fans in the crowd can spot them zooming through the air super fast. Question 50. Which slow, gentle animal carries its home on its back everywhere it goes? It's turtle. A turtle's shell is actually part of its skeleton, which means it can never ever take its house off and leave it behind. Question 26. Which colorful arc appears in the sky after it rains? It's rainbow. A rainbow has 7 colors, and you can remember them by thinking of a man named Rai G. Biv. Question 42. Which fluffy white stuff falls from the sky in winter? It's snow. Every single snowflake has 6 sides, but no 2 snowflakes in the whole world have ever looked exactly the same. Question 31. Which planet is nicknamed the Red Planet? It's Mars. Mars looks red because its dust is full of rust, just like an old bicycle left in the rain. Question 84. Which sweet golden syrup do bees make inside their hive? It's honey. Honey never goes bad. Jars found in ancient tombs were still perfectly good to eat. Question 24. Which green vegetable is really a flower bud with tightly packed leaves? It's artichoke. If you never picked an artichoke, it would open into a huge purple thistle flower. Question 47. Which tall spotted animal has the longest neck of any animal on Earth? It's giraffe. A giraffe's tongue is purple and can be as long as a school ruler, about 45 centimeters. Question 23. What big round fruit is red or green on the outside and juicy inside? It's watermelon. Watermelons are actually about 92% water, which is why eating one feels like drinking a delicious drink at the same time. Question 36. Which dessert animal stores fat in the hump on its back? It's camel. A camel's hump is packed with fat, not water. It is a lunchbox, not a water bottle. Question 55. Which enormous wave can be set off by an earthquake under the sea? It's tsunami. In the deep ocean, a tsunami is barely a ripple. It only piles up into a giant wave near the shore. Question 49. Which tall yellow flower turns its face to follow the sun? It's sunflower. Young sunflowers turn to follow the sun all day, then swing back to face east overnight. Question 29. What instrument do you play by hitting it with sticks? It's drums. Drums are one of the oldest instruments in the world, and people have been banging on them to make music for thousands and thousands of years. Question 45. Which tall triangular instrument do you pluck with both hands? It's harp. A concert harp has 47 strings and 7 pedals worked by the player's feet. Question 46. Which towering storm cloud brings thunder and lightning? It's cumulonimbus cloud. A cumulonimbus cloud can grow taller than Mount Everest, the highest mountain on Earth. Question 6. Which big red truck rushes to put out fires? It's fire truck. Fire trucks carry enough water hose to stretch longer than 5 swimming pools laid end to end. Question 39. Which slow little creature glides along leaving a shiny silver trail? It's snail. A snail glides on a carpet of slime it makes itself, so it can even crawl over a blade of grass. Question 74. Which planet is the only one we know of with living things on it? It's Earth. More than 2/3 of the Earth is covered in water, which is why it looks so blue from space. Question 4. Which round-faced bird hunts at night and turns its head right around? It's owl. An owl can turn its head 3/4 of the way around without moving its body at all. Question 13. Which instrument do you strum with your fingers to make music? It's guitar. A guitar usually has 6 strings, and each one makes a different sound when you pluck it. Question 9. Which planet is tipped right over and spins on its side? It's Uranus. Uranus is tipped so far over that it rolls around the sun like a ball, instead of spinning like a top. Question 15. Which farm animal says moo and gives us milk? It's cow. Cows have best friends, and they get upset when they are kept apart. Question 2. Which huge white bear hunts on the floating ice of the Arctic? It's polar bear. Under all that white fur, a polar bear's skin is actually black. Question 89. Which lizard can look 2 different ways at once with swiveling eyes? It's chameleon. A chameleon can point one eye forwards and the other backwards at the very same time. Question 78. Which crunchy snack grows underground and is a legume, not a nut? It's peanut. A peanut flower bends down and pushes itself into the soil, so the peanuts grow underground. Question 77. Which tall mountain in Africa is the highest peak on the whole continent? It's Mount Kilimanjaro. Even though Mount Kilimanjaro is in Africa, it has snow on top all year round because it is so incredibly tall. Question 61. Which sea creature can shoot ink to hide from danger? It's squid. A squid's ink is so dark it can turn the whole water around it completely black in an instant. Question 97. Which weather tool spins in the wind to show which direction it is blowing from? It's weather vane. Farmers have used weather vanes for thousands of years to predict storms before smartphones were even a dream. Question 17. Which vast sandy desert covers much of northern Africa? It's Sahara Desert. The Sahara is almost as big as the whole United States. Question 14. Which musical instrument has black and white keys you press to make music? It's piano. A piano has 88 keys, and if you laid them all out in a row, they would stretch almost as long as a small car. Question 85. Which ocean animal looks exactly like a horse but actually lives underwater? It's seahorse. A daddy seahorse is the one who carries the babies. He has a special pouch, just like a kangaroo. Question 80. Which round dome-shaped home is built entirely out of blocks of snow? It's igloo. Even though an igloo is made of ice and snow, the air inside can be warm enough to take off your coat because snow traps heat like a cozy blanket. Question 12. Which umbrella-shaped growth pops up on the forest floor after rain? It's mushroom. A mushroom is not a plant at all, it belongs to a completely separate family called fungi. Question 95. Which vehicle floats in the sky using a giant bag filled with hot air? It's hot air balloon. The very first passengers ever to ride in a hot air balloon were a sheep, a duck, and a rooster. Question 81. Which animal can change the color of its skin to match exactly what it is sitting on? It's cuttlefish. A cuttlefish can create moving patterns of color across its whole body like a living TV screen. Question 20. Which weather event makes a bright flash of light across the sky? It's lightning. A bolt of lightning is about 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Now, that is seriously sizzling. Question 79. Which unusual animal has a duckbill, beaver tail, and lays eggs even though it is a mammal? It's platypus. When scientists in Europe first saw a platypus, they thought someone was playing a trick on them by sewing different animals together. Question 70. Which sport uses a long stick to hit a small white ball into a hole? It's golf. Golf was first played in Scotland hundreds of years ago, and players used wooden sticks and pebbles instead of proper clubs and balls. Question 92. Which weather phenomenon creates a swirling column of water over the ocean? It's waterspout. A waterspout is basically a tornado over the water, and it can sometimes suck up small fish and rain them down on land. Question 83. Which enormous wall winds for thousands of miles across China? It's Great Wall of China. The Great Wall is so long that walking its whole length would take you about 18 months. Question 91. Which plant lures insects down into a deep vase-shaped trap? It's pitcher plant. A pitcher plant's slippery rim makes insects skid straight down into its pool. Question 99. Which flat flying toy spins back to you when you throw it just right? It's boomerang. A boomerang curves back to you because of the same spinning trick that makes an airplane wing lift off the ground. Question 71. Which instrument do you play by squeezing air through it while pressing buttons? It's accordion. An accordion makes music by pushing air over tiny metal reeds inside, a little like a harmonica you can hug. Question 38. Which weather event spins like a giant funnel dropping down from the clouds? It's tornado. Tornadoes can spin so fast they sometimes pick up whole cars and carry them through the air. Question 37. Which animal is famous for its black and white stripes? It's zebra. Every zebra has its very own stripe pattern, just like how every person has their own unique fingerprints. Question 5. Which giant stone statue in Egypt has a lion's body and a human head? It's Sphinx. The Great Sphinx is so enormous that a school bus could easily drive right between its giant paws. Question 66. Which black and white bear spends nearly all day munching bamboo? It's giant panda. A panda eats bamboo for up to 14 hours a day because bamboo gives it so little energy. Question 11. Which green statue holds a torch high above New York Harbor? It's Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was shiny brown copper at first. The sea air slowly turned her green. Question 65. Which sport uses a long stick with a net pocket to catch and throw a small rubber ball? It's lacrosse stick. Lacrosse is one of the oldest team sports in North America and was first played by indigenous peoples hundreds of years ago. Question 90. Which tree produces the acorns that squirrels love to bury and store for winter? It's oak tree. A single oak tree can drop up to 10,000 acorns in 1 year. That is a lot of squirrel snacks. Question 63. Which ocean animal has a long spiral tusk growing from its head like a unicorn? It's narwhal. A narwhal's tusk is actually a giant tooth that grows right through its lip and can be as long as a grown-up is tall. Question 88. Which famous tower in Italy is known for leaning to one side? It's Leaning Tower of Pisa. The Tower of Pisa started leaning while it was still being built, and it took over 200 years to finish. Question 72. Which planet is the hottest in our whole solar system? It's Venus. Venus is so hot it could melt a pizza into a puddle in about 2 seconds. Question 96. Which ancient timekeeping tool uses falling sand to measure time? It's hourglass. Before clocks existed, sailors used hourglasses on ships to know exactly when to change who was steering. Question 76. Which round sea creature is covered all over in long protective spines? It's sea urchin. A sea urchin walks along the seabed on hundreds of tiny see-through tube feet. Question 94. Which clever tool uses a floating needle to always point toward the north? It's compass. A compass needle points north because the whole Earth acts like one giant magnet pulling it in that direction. Question 93. Which plant famously snaps its leaves shut to catch its dinner? It's Venus flytrap. A Venus flytrap can count it only snaps shut after something touches its tiny hairs twice in a row. Question 67. Which tall spinning structure uses the wind to grind grain or pump water? It's windmill. Windmills were once so important in the Netherlands that people used their spinning sails to send secret messages to neighbors. Question 73. Which plant actually traps and digests insects using sticky drops on its leaves? It's sundew. The sundew plant's sparkly drops look just like morning dew, but are actually super sticky glue made by the plant itself. Question 98. Which famous landmark sits right in the middle of a giant stone circle in England? It's Stonehenge. The giant stones at Stonehenge weigh as much as 10 elephants each, and nobody is totally sure how people moved them. Question 86. Which rainforest bird has an enormous, brightly colored beak? It's toucan. A toucan's huge beak is mostly hollow, so it is far lighter than it looks. Question 87. Which instrument has a cloth bag of air and pipes resting on the shoulder? It's bagpipes. A piper keeps squeezing the bag so the music never stops, even while taking a breath. Question 100. Which ancient timekeeping device tells the hour using only sunlight and a shadow? It's sundial. Sundials were the world's most popular clock for thousands of years. They only stop working on cloudy days. How many did you get? Tell us your score in the comments and subscribe to @Trivia Quiz for more fun quizzes.